a single item, we make the most important decision in the process: which sources enter the test and why. In this framework, items are not generated from what the model knows. They are generated from what you explicitly provide, selected sources turned into context. And that matters even more in literature. A literary work isn't one linear set of facts. Understanding is built through specific scenes, characters in shifting contexts, themes that run across the whole text, and connections that create meaning. That's why real study notes and guides are usually a blend of perspectives. They mix plot moments, themes, characters, and ideas. And that's also why one source is rarely enough to support a valid literature MCQ test. Let's look at what each source contributes. First, Spark Notes. We use Spark Notes for structural clarity. It helps establish a stable baseline, plot structure, character relationships, and the main thematic lines. Next, Lit Charts. We use Lit Charts for tighter interpretive links. It supports items that assess symbolism and meaning, theme development, and relationships between character action and the text's message. Then Wikipedia. Wikipedia supports contextual framing, historical background, publication context, and the broader political and social setting. And finally, Britannica. Britannica acts as an academic reference anchor. It helps confirm that key claims align with established scholarly consensus. Now, an important methodological clarification. We're not asking for personal opinion here. We're testing recognition of meaning that is already supported and explained in the sources. That's why source selection is sensitive. Every source highlights certain narratives and downplays others. Each one defines what kind of claims it can responsibly support. Taken on its own, any single source has limits as a context for questions. By combining multiple sources, we don't add interpretations. We increase coverage and stability by reinforcing shared text-based claims. Each source still has boundaries. Together, they define what can be tested fairly. Now here's the core methodological point. The key isn't which source is best. The key is, what claims can this source validly support? Even your own notes can be useful sources. But then the items must be designed to match the scope and the limitations of those notes. That's why we combine sources, to separate three things clearly: what we assess it from, and why. Next, we'll convert those sources into a single markdown context. And that markdown will define the boundaries of what can and cannot be asked.